Number 1. Goosebumps, your skin's tiny panic parade. You're cold, or you're scared, or maybe you just heard that one song that gives you feels, and suddenly, your arms look like a plucked chicken auditioning for a horror film. Yes, we're talking about goosebumps, the weird little bumps your body throws up when your emotional or thermal thermostat gets funky. But what's the deal with them? Why does your skin decide to look like it caught a disease every time you get chills? Well, here's the secret. Goosebumps are a prehistoric puff-up reflex. Back when humans were still one bad winter away from extinction and covered in a bit more body hair, this reflex would make your hairs stand up, trapping heat close to the skin, kind of like a living, anxiety-powered sweater. Even better, when danger came knocking, say, a saber-toothed tiger or your ex with unresolved drama, goosebumps made you look slightly larger and more threatening, like how a cat fluffs up before a fight. Except you just look like a scared cactus. Fast forward a few thousand years, and your body still thinks you're living in a cave, trying not to get eaten. So now when you watch a touching TikTok or step into a cold conference room, your ancient biology says, "No worries, I got this. Time to activate porcupine mode." Basically, goosebumps are your body's version of throwing confetti and yelling, "Be alert!" even if all you did was hear a violin solo. Number 2. The startle reflex, your inner jump scare. You hear a balloon pop. You flinch. Your whole body jerks like someone just tried to plug you into the Matrix. Congratulations, you've just triggered the startle reflex, aka your nervous system's way of shouting, "Panic first, ask questions later." This reflex is so deeply wired, babies are born with it. It's called the Moro reflex, and it's one of the first things doctors check in newborns because a baby that doesn't flail its arms like it just saw its tax bill, that's actually concerning. Back in the day, this reaction served a purpose. If you were chilling in a tree and heard a sudden noise like a predator creeping up behind you, your body would react instantly to get you out of danger. Arms flailing, legs twitching, core tensing, the whole action hero sequence in half a second. Fast forward to now, and your body still does that. Except instead of lions, it's popcorn bags or someone saying your name unexpectedly in a Zoom call. Also, that mini heart attack you get when your phone buzzes at 3 a.m., that's the exact same survival alarm being repurposed for social anxiety and emoji delivery systems. The startle reflex used to save your life. Now it mostly just makes you spill coffee in public and pretend you didn't squeak like a startled hamster. So next time you jump out of your skin over something stupid, just remember, it's not fear, it's prehistoric performance art. Number 3. Gag reflex, your body's built-in bouncer. You're brushing your tongue a little too enthusiastically, and suddenly your throat is like, "Not today, Delaware Ental Hygiene." That right there is the gag reflex, one of your body's most committed, least graceful defense mechanisms. And honestly, it deserves more respect. This reflex exists to keep things out of your airway and digestive system that absolutely do not belong there, like poison, or bones, or that regrettable bite of week-old sushi you tried to prove a point with. The gag reflex is your built-in bouncer, standing at the club entrance of your throat and going, "Nope, you're not on the guest list. Goodbye." And it's fast. It reacts in milliseconds to things touching the back of your throat because back in the day, that quick response meant survival. Before expiration dates and refrigeration, your ancestors had to rely on texture, smell, and the occasional biological nope reaction to avoid ingesting something that would put them in the Neolithic ICU, aka the ditch behind the hut. But nowadays, it gets triggered by toothbrushes, tongue depressors, and sometimes just the thought of weird food textures, because your body's like, better safe than puking into a bush again. So yes, it's embarrassing when your body tries to eject your breakfast because you coughed while brushing, but the reflex? Still doing exactly what it evolved to do. Keep you alive, one dramatic throat spasm at a time. Number 4, sneezing, your face's airborne attack. You feel it coming, the tingling, the pre-sneeze tension. And then ACHOO you explode into a cloud of microscopic mist. Personal dignity be damned. Yes, sneezing is gross. Yes, it's loud. But it's also a military-grade defensive blast, evolved over millennia to clear your airways with maximum aggression. Here's how it works. When your nose detects something irritating, dust, pollen, perfume, a whiff of injustice, It sends a signal to your brainstem that says, evacuate everything. What follows is a full-body launch sequence. Your eyes squeeze shut, your diaphragm contracts, and your lungs shoot out air at up to 100 miles per hour, all for that glorious moment of release. And it needed to be dramatic, because your ancestors lived in places with moldy caves, animal dander, and fire smoke, basically the allergen apocalypse. A powerful sneeze wasn't just polite, it was life-preserving. Nowadays, it's mostly just how you terrify coworkers and accidentally spray elevator buttons with your DNA. But still, every sneeze you sneeze is your body doing battlefield cleanup, old-school style. So cover your mouth, sure, but never forget, that face explosion, it's your immune system going full Michael Bay. Number 5. Blinking. The lazy eyes security patrol. You blink. Then you blink again. And again. Congrats, you've already blinked about 15-20 times just while reading this sentence, and you didn't even notice. But here's the weird part. Why are you blinking so often when your eyes aren't even dry? What is this? Eye fidgeting? Turns out, blinking isn't just about keeping your eyeballs moist and socially acceptable, it's your body's built-in sensor reset button. Every blink gives your brain a millisecond to reset your visual input, like hitting refresh on a very squishy browser window. Studies show that during a blink, your brain actually momentarily pauses visual processing because otherwise, you'd be overwhelmed by the constant flood of information and, frankly, probably walk into a wall. Even cooler? Your blinking rate goes up when you're anxious, thinking hard, or lying. Sorry, poker players. It's your body literally trying to protect and recalibrate your overwhelmed brain through moisture flicks. Oh, and before modern medicine, blinking had another, more savage survival role, keeping sand, bugs, and random airborne disease chunks from turning your eyes into infection puddles. So if someone tells you, you blink too much, just tell them you're keeping your ancient biosecurity protocols up to date. Also, you blinked while reading that, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. Number 6, yawning. Because apparently oxygen is boring now. You're in a meeting, nothing exciting is happening, and then boom, yawn. Not just any yawn, a soul-sucking, full-body exhale that makes you look like a sleepy velociraptor stretching its jaw. Why do we do this? Are we really that bored? Well, yeah. But also, your body thinks it's overheating. One theory suggests that yawning helps cool down your brain, literally bringing in cooler air to regulate your brain temperature when it's working too hard or zoning out entirely. In ancient times, yawning might have been a communal signal. Like, hey tribe, let's nap before we accidentally walk into a saber-toothed mouth. Yawns are weirdly contagious too, even across species. Dogs, monkeys, and yes, humans, all yawn when someone nearby does it. And if you've ever had that moment where you're fighting a yawn in public, trying to yawn politely like you're not dislocating your jaw, congratulations. You're experiencing the refined version of your ancestors' survival cooldown reflex. Also, shout out to your nervous system for choosing public transportation as the exact moment to yawn with your mouth wide open, like you're about to devour reality. Basically, yawning is your brain's way of saying, I need a system reboot, and I'll do it with or without your permission. Number 7. The twitch, your limbs' sudden existential crisis. You're sitting there, calm and collected, when suddenly your eye twitches, or your thumb, or your entire leg decides to do a jazz kick for no reason. Say hello to myoclonus, the fancy term for when your muscles spasm without your consent, as if they just remembered a traumatic event from high school. Most of the time, it's harmless. It can be caused by fatigue, stress, caffeine, or your body trying to interpret electrical static as a call to action. Basically, your nerves are playing telephone, and someone at the end is yelling, move, without context. Back in the day, these little spasms might have been early warning signs, your body's version of weird energy incoming. Like if your foot twitched in a swamp, maybe it meant a snake was nearby. Or your eye twitched because a mosquito was about to land, and your face muscles were like, prepare for battle. Now? It mostly means you've had too much coffee, not enough sleep, and your nervous system is running a very chaotic background update. So next time your eyelid decides to Morse code its own survival message, just nod and say, it's fine. I'm a prehistoric meat robot with anxiety. This is normal. Number 8. Flinching. The microsecond hero move. You drop a spoon. You flinch. Someone claps near your head. You flinch. A pigeon dive bombs your fries. You flinch like your life depended on it. Because it did. Once. Flinching is your brain's way of protecting the really important parts, eyes, face, neck, by making you do the fastest, least graceful dance move ever recorded by the human body. It's not a choice. It's a spinal reflex. Your sensory neurons detect incoming danger, and before your brain even finishes reading the threat memo, your body has already ducked, squinted, or half-punched the air in a panic. Your ancestors relied on this. If a branch snapped behind them, flinching might have saved them from an ambush. If a rock flew toward their head, the flinch gave them a fighting chance to not become part of the landscape. Today, that flinch just makes you spill coffee or throw your phone at a squirrel you thought was a ninja. But don't judge it. That lightning-fast spasm is your personal superhero moment minus the cape and choreography. Basically, every time you flinch, it's your body screaming, "I choose life," in 0.2 seconds flat. Number 9. The vomit reflex. Your body's rage quit button. You're feeling fine, until your stomach decides it's done playing nice and launches a full-blown mutiny. One moment you're sipping soup, the next your digestive system is going, "Emergency exit, everything must go." Let's talk about vomiting, the body's dramatic way of saying, "I don't know what that was, but I hate it." This reflex is one of the most savage defense systems your body has. The vomiting center in your brainstem, yes, that's a real thing. And no, it doesn't have a sense of humor. Gets signals from your stomach, intestines, inner ear, and even your thoughts. That's right, you can literally think yourself into puking. Thanks, evolution. Historically, this reflex kept your ancestors alive by ejecting things like toxic berries, spoiled meat, or that weird mushroom Steve swore was safe. If something didn't feel right in your gut, boom, out it goes. No trial, no appeal, just projectile regret. Even now, the reflex is hyperactive. Nasty smells, sights, or textures can set it off. Some people gag just looking at certain foods. Looking at you, cottage cheese with raisins. So yeah, it's gross. It's undignified. But your vomit reflex is like that one brutally honest friend. Annoying, loud, and always looking out for you. Because nothing says, "I care," like expelling everything you've eaten in the last 12 hours through the force of sheer survival panic. Number 10. The itch. The body's passive-aggressive memo. You're sitting still, minding your business, when suddenly, your elbow itches, or your scalp, or the middle of your back, that exact spot you can't reach unless you're part contortionist iguana. Why? You didn't touch anything. There's no bug. Your skin is fine. And yet, itch. That, my friend, is your itch reflex, and it's a prime example of your nervous system being both paranoid and petty. The itch reflex evolved as a microdefense mechanism against tiny threats, bugs, parasites, allergens, or just microscopic dust trying to set up shop on your skin. In ancient times, an itch might have meant something was crawling on you that wanted to bite, infect, or lay eggs. Fun! So your body developed a system. Detect the irritation, send a signal, and compel you to scratch like your dignity depends on it. But here's the kicker, scratching doesn't always solve the problem. Sometimes it makes it worse. But your brain doesn't care. The itch isn't about fixing things, it's about reminding you that you're vulnerable, fleshy, and full of nerve endings with trust issues. It's also contagious. Seeing someone scratch makes you want to scratch. Reading about itching, you're probably scratching right now. Yep, that's your ancient anti-parasite protocol kicking in on a psychological level. Welcome to Team Survival. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.